All right, everyone. I just got done watching episode 2 of WWE Unreal. This was titled Push, and it's very evident why that was. This, at least the main storyline, was surrounding Jey Uso and obviously the run up to Royal Rumble and then the Royal Rumble. So this is one of the interesting things about this series so far as we get into episode 2 that I've seen, where there's kind of a mix between showing you the behind the scenes and also telling you the stories of the wrestlers involved, right? So we're getting kind of the writers' room aspect of it, and we're also getting kind of the stories from the wrestlers. I would love, and I haven't watched any of the other episodes as I'm doing this video, but I would love to see even more from the writers' room. It feels like they could have done a lot more with this. I mean, you get bits and pieces, but that's kind of what we want to see, right? That's some of the behind the scenes stuff we want to see. But the focus on Jey Uso was a really, really good decision because it shows you just how much things can change from a kind of creative perspective in the WWE. When they show us that first kind of clip of all of the writers in Triple H and Michael Hayes and all these guys talking about the Royal Rumble winner, Jey Uso's name is not even really brought up. You're hearing CM Punk, you're hearing John Cena, you're hearing a lot of the arguments, and then one kind of instance of Jey Uso being brought up, not even to win the Rumble, but in another way, leads to him being the one who wins the Royal Rumble. And I think it's always so important to understand how that's actually these decisions are being made. That when we discuss on this channel, different things, and if we like that or we didn't, how that came to be, and Triple H talking about how the feel is what I go off of. And I find that to be such a good kind of comment by Triple H to say, we go by feel. And he's 100% right with that. You have to you can't always think of it in an analytical way of does this 100% make sense in every way, shape, or form. You got to give a little bit of the feel, and I think they, especially as of late, WWE has done a great job of really when they do something, when Jey Uso wins the championship, all of that stuff, it really you can feel it. So, this episode I think did a great job of that. In the second half, just like in the first one, I thought was even better than the first half of the episode to see Jey Uso, right? And to see the Royal Rumble play out and to see how Triple H goes up to him and says, "Look, we want to give you a big push, right? We want to put rocket fuel under you, but we have to make sure that you can basically handle it, right?" And this is think about all the pressure that comes with winning the Royal Rumble. Now you're going to WrestleMania. You're getting a title match at WrestleMania. So it's not just about can you win the Royal Rumble, it's can you produce on the big stage in one of the biggest matches. And of course, as we know, Jey Uso did. But to see the audience reaction, to see how everything happens was such a good part of this episode. To see, Jey Uso's son and how he was kind of I loved how they had the camera on him. So we were getting his live reaction. And you could just see how excited he was for all of the stuff going on at the Royal Rumble. But you could also just tell that he's like, oh my God, is my dad going to win the Royal Rumble? Is my dad going to be the one who wins? And then it gets down to two, and you can kind of see him still excited, but he's looking at Jey Uso and he's like, oh, is he going to be the one to win? And then for him to finally win, such a great way to tell the story. Such a great way to tell the story. The only thing I would push back on with this episode is that I do think that when you're going WWE Unreal, right? The whole point of this is to give us a behind the scenes look. And it still feels like we're getting one of those WWE docu-series. It still feels, well, I guess we are getting that, but we're not getting like, give us some more of the uncut stuff, right? Give us some more of the backroom meetings, not just the stuff that made it, right? The whole point of this is to kind of tell us this is what happens behind the scenes. Here's uncut WWE, and you're still getting like, okay, we're getting the behind the scenes on things that happened and a little bit of what didn't happen. But what about giving us like even more? And I'm hoping maybe in future episodes we will get that. Not really the biggest critique. I'm just enjoying watching this so much and to get the glimpses we do. And then of course, I got to mention this part too. The whole I show Speed thing where Speed has no clue what he's, going to be in the match. He ends up getting thrown in. Triple H is loving it. Gets absolutely destroyed on a spear. Gets thrown over the table by Otis, and then he has an actual cut, and you just kind of see, like everybody is just kind of like, "Oh yeah, we got to take care of this guy now because he just got injured." And Triple H is probably like, "Oh man, well, we don't love that, right? That wasn't the best thing to happen." But obviously now it's a moment. Now it's a moment, and for Speed to go in there, and honestly, watching it through this. and knowing that he had no clue what was happening, he did pretty good. I mean, he looked natural, right? It didn't look anything crazy. And when he takes that spear, I mean, insanity. Absolute insanity. So great episode. Like I said, we're gonna keep going through these and doing our giving our thoughts, and then maybe we'll do an overarching one as well. But man, what a time to be alive when you have WWE producing stuff like this and giving us a behind the scenes look. So thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.